Welcome to today's topic. I'm going to be talking about a question that I received that I thought was such a good question. I wanted to do a class on it. And she was saying, Clomid didn't work for me. What do I do now? So that's what we're going to be talking about today is for those of you who have tried Clomid. Let me get my camera's always falling over. Those of you who have tried Clomid, didn't work for you, what do you do now? So the first thing I want to address before I jump into this topic is, first of all, this is not a class to bash Clomid. It's one of the things in the toolbox. The second thing is I feel like the way that this question was asked, she felt like there was no other options. So by saying, oh, good, I'm glad you're on here, Mimi. By saying Clomid didn't work, what do I do now? Thinking I don't have any options. So first want to address that there are so many options. So don't feel like because it didn't work, things didn't go as planned, that you don't have any other options, okay? So first of all, we'll start there. So there's a couple different things. Let's talk about what Clomid is real quick, or what the purpose of Clomid is. I'm not a doctor. I don't work with Clomid. I understand the fundamentals of the purpose of it. But it's basically to get the body to ovulate. And a lot of times it can make it ovulate a lot. It doesn't always work for everybody. Of course, it works for some people. So Clomid is focused on one specific aspect as it pertains to fertility, which is ovulation. Now, when you're looking at one tiny part of a very complex cycle and a very complex system, you're missing out on a lot of other factors that are necessary for that event to occur. You're also missing out on a lot of factors that need to be in place. So if that action did occur, like ovulation occurred and the egg was fertilized, there's so many factors afterwards that needs to be in place for health. So there's a bigger picture. So I'm constantly wanting to suggest or get people to zoom out when they're looking at their health and helping to support their reproductive health in a holistic, natural way. Because there's a way bigger picture here. We can get super microscopic and we can get very into specific types of test results with one type of hormone or very specific moments in time on the cycle. And we got to zoom out, because what's happening, like our bodies are an entire universe. If just even the function within the endocrine system, the hormonal cycle, what's happening within the uterus is so unbelievably magnificent and complex that when we're just looking at like, okay, how can we force the body to ovulate? We're missing out on so many other factors that are needed, okay? And I understand there's a lot to it and it can be overwhelming, but that's the way that I approach it and I like to look at it. That's why it's called holistic health. So we're zooming out, and what we're wanting to do is we're wanting to support the system. So here's a couple different ways to approach this. Just because Clomid didn't work, it doesn't mean that you're not gonna be able to get pregnant. All that happened was Clomid didn't work. So when I'm working with someone to help support their overall reproductive system, what I'm looking at is, first of all, what is your body telling you about your health? What is the feedback your body is giving you? I really like to look at what the entire cycle is saying. What is your period like? How long is it? What's happening on day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? What color is your menstrual blood? What are your cramps like? What are your moods like? Okay, the rest of your cycle, what's that like? How long is your cycle? Are you ovulating? Are you tracking ovulation using a temperature method, not just cervical mucus? Cervical mucus, whoops. I have alarms going off. Cervical mucus is important, but that does not mean you're necessarily ovulating, right? That's just showing that that is going to be your fertile time window. We're going up to that part, which is very valuable, but it's not confirming ovulation. How long is your first phase of your cycle? How long is the second phase? So totally different approach, a lot more work, totally get it. It's not a pill you take for 5 days. But what's happening is we're able to look at your system and understand what's happening. And this is not only valuable for whether or not you're ovulating, this is valuable so that we know that your hormones are healthy, so that the first half of your cycle, your uterine lining is growing great. Your follicles have what they need to mature and grow and then go towards ovulation. The second part, you've worked on your uterine lining. You have enough progesterone to sustain that uterine lining, so we can wait the whole long time of 10 to 11 days for implantation to occur, for the embryo to finally arrive. So there's so many different factors that are at play that when one thing doesn't work, such as Clomid, take a look, zoom out, take a look at those other factors. And this can be used in conjunction with Clomid. This can be used in conjunction with whatever path you're taking. If you're having medical support, if you're not if you're doing all natural. There's so many different aspects. So that's why I talk about this in 5 pillars. I talk about 5 different areas to make sure that you're working on, because there's so many different parts that play to this bigger role. So for instance, when it comes to ovulation, if someone has constant anemia or is deficient in iron, not absorbing their iron, excuse me, I just chugged a smoothie before this class. They could possibly not be ovulating. If someone's diet is really poor, they might not have the proper nutrients to produce hormones properly. If someone's life is constant stress and it's just like, whew, and that's not being managed, that can cause issues with hormonal balance. And regardless of what you're doing, A, B, or C, when you're focusing just on ovulation, if these other factors aren't taken care of, really not going to happen. You can't really get gasoline out of an empty tank. I don't know if that's a saying. I might have just made that one up. But you get what I'm saying. So quickly, here's the 5 pillars. There's definitely aspects to this that are personal for every person, but I always want to make sure that we are looking at these 5 pillars. No, you don't have to start these every single, like all at once. You can take them piece by piece if you're someone who needs to take it step by step. If you're someone who's like me, who's super gung-ho and is like, let's do it all, personality 8, color red personality, take it as you can. So first pillar is cleansing. I always start with cleansing because there are so many things that the liver is involved with when it comes to hormonal health. There's so many things that the uterus is involved with reproductive health, obviously, right? So let's start there. Let's start with a good foundation with cleansing. Fertility cleansing is one type of cleansing. I also do really like digestive and colon cleansing, depending on what your history is and where we're meeting you, where you've been on your path to this point. The next is to nourish the body, nutrition, antioxidants, anti-inflammatory foods, flooding the body with these nutrients. Lots of different ways to do that. I'm doing a talk tomorrow on that if you want to learn more about that pillar. The third is to protect. We need to protect our bodies from external chemicals that are mimicking hormones in our systems, because we're doing all this stuff to take care of ourselves, yet we constantly have these things externally wreaking havoc. And so that's causing hormonal issues. So regardless, if we are trying to ovulate, if we have too much estrogen, not enough progesterone because we haven't taken care of that pillar, you know, it's not going to, our luteal phase will be too short. Just one example of ways that imbalance can happen. The third is to balance, or the fourth one is to bring balance. So this is where things get pretty specific for people. This is when I like to bring in herbs. I like to bring in essential oils, whatever it is. It's different for each person depending on how they need balance. We really look at the menstrual cycle. We really look at the whole fertility cycle of the month, charting, all of that, mood, breakouts, all that stuff, to know what you would need to help support balance, help support the endocrine system. We're always looking at supporting systems: reproductive, endocrine, nervous system, digestive system, rather than can we force this one action to happen? And then the last one is self-care. And a lot of things fall into self-care, like increasing circulation, helping the body with its natural ability to detoxify, reducing stress. Whew, right? Who could use some stress reduction lately? Right? This year, every day. But all that has an impact on hormonal health. And I know it sounds weird. You're like, okay, you just said there's 20 things I have to do. What does massaging my belly have to do with reducing stress or helping me ovulate? It has a lot to do with it. So for example, massage is wonderful for helping the nervous system and helping the body's communication loop as it pertains to pituitary gland and the endocrine system that signifies the hormones and says the timing of everything to happen. You want that communication loop to be good. Massage is amazing for that. Increasing circulation, really important for egg health, really important for helping oxygenated blood to get to the uterus, the ovaries, fallopian tubes, eggs, so on. So all of those pillars are important. And because we're approaching it in a holistic manner that's very zoomed out and supportive of the system, a lot of these little mysterious things that don't show up in tests, we quite can't figure out because, okay, on your charting, your cycle's perfect, but like it's been 3 years. You know, what's happening? It helps to cover all of those bases so that whatever little thing is being missed is being covered. A nutritional deficiency you never would assumed you would have had. I eat great, but oh, I don't absorb iron very well from plants. Who knew? So that diversity and that pillar plan where you're looking at all these different aspects helps to cover all the bases. So that was a total tangent that I went on, but I loved Mimi's question because she was asking about Clomid didn't work. Now what do I do? So the good news about these natural therapies and all of this is they are going to support you regardless of what direction your path ends up going. If you are preparing for medical assistance, that type of thing, helpful, supportive. We all want healthy pregnancy out of this. If you're going all natural, it all starts in the same place. So if you want more support in all of this, reach out to me through DM. Let me know more about what's going on with you. We can chat, see if this is a place that I can help you with, if this is something I can support you with. I do want to mention, if you're already working with a practitioner, I don't suggest to layer programs on top of programs. Try someone's program for the 3+ 6 months, whatever it is that they're saying that you need to do the program for changes, for success. Try that out, stick to something. If you're not working with someone, reach out through DM, let me know about what's going on, and I can help to lead you to some resources, hopefully to help you get going. So Damien said, I wanted to let you know, me and my wife started to use your program and we are now 20 weeks pregnant. Damien, congratulations. Oh my goodness. That just totally made my day. Hey, Kathy from Tennessee. Uzuma, after 2 months of miscarriage, when to start for new pregnancy? Generally, once your cycle has returned, a regular period has returned, and you are emotionally ready, you can go right back to it. Awesome. Mimi saying she's starting acupuncture this week. Awesome. And she's been off the meds for a while since they didn't do much. Yeah, and they can end up running you crazy. For sure. Someone's saying fantastic, very accurate, awesome. Right on, guys. Well, I hope that you found today's topic helpful. And you can fill in the blank with any other thing if you want to instead of the word Clomid, and the same suggestion would apply. So I hope you guys have a fantastic day. I'll talk to you all again.